Hey guys, Justin with Kayak Catfish here. Last week I had a viewer comment on one of my videos and he asked me to just do a quick video on how I anchor my kayak. So today I'm going to go over the type of anchor I use, how I attach to my kayak, and then I'm also going to go over some safety considerations you need to think about if you do choose to anchor fish from your kayak. Now, first and foremost, I just want to emphasize safety. And I don't want to come across like the safety police. I'm not trying to tell you what to do or how you live your life. But you really need to exercise extreme caution anytime you anchor a kayak, especially if you're anchoring in current. If you are fishing on a fast-flowing river, do not anchor a kayak. If you have a kayak that's not stable enough for you to stand in, please, again, do not anchor it. It is a disaster waiting to happen. You do not want to flip these things. Flipping a kayak in current, especially fast current, that can cost you your life, and there is no fish out there that is worth risking your life over. Anyway, that's my safety disclaimer, and also too, one more thing to add, this right here. Always wear your PFD. I don't care if you're anchor fishing or not. If you're in a kayak, wear this thing. This right here will save your life if something bad happens. So anyway, now moving on to the equipment I use. Now, first and foremost, you're going to need an anchor. Now, what type of anchor you use is totally up to you. The good thing about fishing out of a kayak is these things are so lightweight, it doesn't take a very heavy anchor to hold you in place. Now, the most common type of anchor used is this right here. This is just a little 3-pound folding grapple style anchor. And these things work well. They'll hold your kayak in place without any issue. I'm going to put a little iCard link in the corner of your screen here. I did a video called How to Catch Trophy Blue Cats in the Kayak last year, and in that video I talk about this anchor and how you need to attach your rope to it if you choose to use this type. So if this is the kind of anchor you have or the kind that you want to use, click on that link and that'll give you some more information about this. Now, the advantages and disadvantages of this. The advantage is it's compact. When it's not in use, it folds up like this. You can stick it in your storage hatch. It's out of the way, doesn't take up a lot of space. That part about this anchor I love, and that is great. The disadvantage comes in when you're fishing deep water. When you're pulling this thing up off the bottom from deep water, it's going to do this right here. These prongs on it act as a propeller, and it will spin the entire way back to the kayak. It will get your line all twisted and knotted up, something terrible. So, not a problem if you're fishing a shallow water area, but if you're fishing deep water, like out here on the Tennessee River where I fish, some of these areas I anchor on are 50, 60, 70 feet deep. So that's a lot of anchor rope I'm pulling up. And this thing, like I said, it's just sitting down there spinning the whole way up. So because of that, because it was such a nuisance getting the knots out of my rope, I just quit using this type. I went back to the slip ring style anchor that I had used for years before I moved to that anchor. So a slip ring style anchor is what I have here. Now how this anchor works is you've got these two prongs here that dig in down to the bottom. Up top, you've got this ring. So when it's time to pull up your anchor, real easy, you just get back behind the anchor here, pull on it. This ring will slide to the back and you can pull it right out. That's how it works the majority of the time. Now, as I said in my other video, I don't care what type of anchor you use or what type of river bottom you're fishing. You anchor fish long enough, you're going to eventually hang one of these things to the point that you can't get it loose. That's just part of the game. That's part of anchor fishing. But one thing that's going to help you if you use this slip ring style anchor is what I've done here. You can see this. I have attached about a 3-foot section of chain to it. That chain for kayak fishing serves one purpose, and it gives it a little extra weight on the end of your rope. That chain probably adds maybe 5 pounds. So how it works is, let's say you get your prongs here, you're up under a rock or a stump or something like that, something that you just can't get it free. In a kayak, because these kayaks are so buoyant and so lightweight, it's very difficult to get the leverage you need to really be able to pull on an anchor and give it the business when it's lodged and you need to get it free. So having a heavy piece of chain on the end of it, when you get this thing hung and you're pulling and giving your line slack, pulling and giving your line slack, you've got, I don't know, 5-6 pounds of chain here clanging on this thing and hitting it from different angles, and will hopefully work it loose if you get it hung. So, this chain definitely not something that you have to have with this style anchor. I use this slip ring style anchor for years without any problems, but you know, I have lost a few through the years. That's just part of it. That's something you're going to deal with. So the chain has helped me get some anchors free that I probably wouldn't have gotten free without it. So totally up to you if you want to use that or not. Now, the advantages to this style of anchor is, one, I feel like it gets hung a lot less than most type of anchors. The other thing is you can use it in deep water and pull it up. You're not going to twist your line and all that. The downside of this is as you can see, this is a big anchor. It takes up a lot of space in the kayak. Having this extra chain on here also adds to the weight that you're going to be adding to your kayak. So when you're choosing an anchor, and again, it doesn't matter what type of anchor you use, it doesn't take very much weight to hold these things in place. You're just going to have to choose for yourself what type of anchor is going to best suit your needs and your storage capabilities and how deep of water you're fishing, and etc. So totally your choice. Now moving on, so you're going to need some kind of anchor rope storage device. Now this is an extension cord holder. You can get these at Walmart for like $1. It's pretty good. If you see, it's got these little notches here. I don't know what these notches are for, but I run my anchor rope through the end of one of those and just tie a knot so it won't pull back through. On this other end, I've got a carabiner clip, and that allows me to attach it to my anchor trolley very easy. I can attach and detach very, very quickly. Now on this side, you notice I've got a piece of pool noodle attached to this. This is for flotation, and it doesn't matter if you use something like this, like a pool noodle, or if you use an actual anchor float. As long as you have some kind of flotation device on here, you're fine. You need this because in the event you need to detach from your anchor, and there are times when it happens, most commonly the reasons I need to detach from my anchor is when I'll get a wake boat pass me by real close, or have a houseboat go up at full speed. They'll put off these huge monster wakes. You don't want to be anchored down in that situation. If you've got best case scenario, your anchor's going to give when them big waves hit you. Worst case scenario, your anchor's going to hold and you're going to get all these waves come right over the side of you. That can wash your gear out. It could possibly cause you to flip. It could knock you out. So please, please, please have a way to be able to detach quickly from your anchor and have some kind of flotation device so you don't lose your rope and everything. With this on here, when I detach, it's just going to be floating there in the water, and then I can go back to it and reattach my kayak to it when the threat of the danger is gone. So that's why you have that. So next I'm going to go out here to the spot I'm going to be anchoring on today. I'll show you how I attach it to my kayak. Alright guys, so I've got to my first spot here I'm going to anchor today. Just going to drop my anchor over. Now that I've got my anchor out, I'm going to attach it to my anchor trolley here. An anchor trolley is simply just a pulley system that goes from the front of your kayak to the back. You can attach your anchor to it and just slide it to the back. So now my anchor is at my back here, and I've got my kayak going perfectly downstream like I want it. Now, in the event that a wake boat goes by, or a houseboat, something that's putting off a huge wake, and there's a safety threat and I need to detach from my anchor very quickly, all I have to do is just quickly reach back, grab my anchor trolley, and I can just pop it loose, let it go. It'll float up because it's got that float on there, and then whenever the threat's passed, I can just paddle back to it and reattach to my anchor. Alright guys, one final piece of equipment you're going to need for anchor fishing is this right here. This is a drift saw, and how I use this is I put it off the front of my kayak once I'm anchored down. I attach it to my anchor trolley on the other side. I attach it with a carabiner clip, just like with my anchor, so I can quickly attach and detach if need be. I've got a piece of pool noodle on it, that way if I do detach from it, I'm not going to lose it. It's going to stay floating, I can go get it. But how it works is, once you drop this off the front, this thing's going to fill up with water, and it's going to hold your kayak steady. What happens is, if you've got a wind that's blowing upstream or blowing across the current, your kayak wants to do this right here. It wants to sway back and forth. And if you've got your lines cast out, it's going to be dragging them back and forth across the bottom as it moves your kayak. And that's just going to cause you to get hung up and cause you a lot of frustration. So this right here will help you prevent that. Now, they make what's called a kayak drift sock. Those things are complete and total crap. Do not buy them. They're like 18 inches in diameter, and they are just not big enough to hold one of these big fishing kayaks. Those were made for more of your traditional paddling type kayaks that sit very low to the water and they're very narrow. These fishing kayaks set up high, they catch a lot of wind, an 18-inch drift sock just isn't going to hold. This right here is either a 30-inch or 36-inch. For the life of me, I cannot remember, but either way, I would not recommend going less than 30 inches on a drift sock for this application. Now, as far as what type of drift sock to buy, again, it doesn't matter. It's a drift sock. Don't spend a lot of money on it. This right here, I got this at Academy several years back when I was still fishing out of a boat. I think it was either $9.99 or $14.99, I can't remember. It's still going strong. There ain't a thing wrong with it. So don't go breaking the bank buying one of those expensive brand name drift socks. It's not worth it. Get you a cheap one from Academy or any sporting goods store and they'll work just fine for you. But again, essential piece of equipment if you're going to be anchor fishing in a kayak. Now, a person asked me, and I can't remember if it was the same person or not who left the original comment, do I ever double anchor in the kayak? And the answer is no, I don't. I use this drift sock. This works well if I'm anchoring in current. Otherwise, I don't use a 2-anchor system. One, having 2 anchors in the kayak is just cumbersome. It's just not it's not a good use of my space, I don't feel like. The other thing, the only reason I would need to double anchor in the kayak would be if I was fishing slack water, if I didn't have enough current that I could utilize a drift sock. And in those situations, I don't anchor fish anyway. I troll when I'm fishing those situations, so I have no need to double anchor. Alright guys, I hope this information has been helpful to you. If you have any other questions, anything else you want to know, just leave it in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.